he, from a young age, that life is not perfect. You know, there is good, there is bad. I was in the furniture business for 40 years. I talked to people like you who tried to sell them something. Of course, I knew if I want to sell them something, I have to be nice to them, you know. And they answered that way. They were nice too. They would invite me to the house and get advice, you know. And it looked like people are not different. If you sell them furniture, or if you sell them gasoline. Well, I know we had 2 gas stations.
In Rimanov, yes.
One in Rimanov and one in Nivonich,
Yes.
which is the resort. And we were told by the office, main office, you have to treat people nicely. If they take 5 liter.
Who told you? Who told you that?
The people that were running the company.
Okay.
The Karpate was it.
Okay.
It was from outside. And this was nothing new to me because we had a kerosene gasoline business. If you wanted to sell something, you had to treat them nicely, you know. You had to treat them, and we had partners, and I would sit in with the partners, and I would say, we have to be good people to run the business, to treat people fairly. You know. And the same was if it was Kazakhstan or Siberia. I remember things like if my first job in Siberia was to cut down trees. I never cut down trees before because
it's a hard work.
It's a certain job.
Yeah.
So you take one saw, and you got 2 people, and you have to control it, concentrate. So the 2 of you combine, do the same thing, because if one goes like this, one goes like this,
it wouldn't work. Yeah.
It doesn't work. See, so, and I learned from some of the Russians. They said this is how you have to do it to make it easy. To hold this saw nice and even and follow me, you know, and then it's not going to be too difficult, you know. And I remember, like today, I talked to the man, that the advice that he was giving me.
Really?
Yeah. You know, all you have to do to know how to cut a tree. 2 people. So you have to combine the 2 of you.
To work as one.
Yeah.
To work as one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if one is holding the saw like this and one is going like this, the saw doesn't go through the tree. Yeah. And the same is life. In life, you have to. I would learn from people when they came into the store. I didn't talk furniture. I talked all kinds of personal life, you know. And they would say, some of them, I like your attitude. I would like you to come to my house and look and
Advice, give me advice.
yeah, yeah. And what it is in business or life, you have to learn to be liked, trusted. If you're not trusted, it's very difficult to run a business.
Mhm.
The people have to feel comfortable. I
With
think
you.
with me.
Mhm.
If I buy this table, I should be happy. You know, if I buy a bedroom set, a dining,
Hi.
Hi, ito.
Management.
in that applies to Jewish people. I used to take in Jewish people
Mm-hmm.
to the merchandise mart
Mm-hmm.
because they wanted something a little more expensive and more advice. And, and they were happy when I took them in and I gave them good advice. And I had a lot of concentration camp survivors
Oh,
in Milwaukee.
okay.
Yeah. And they included me into, it's only not quite less than an hour to drive
To Milwaukee.
from Kenosha to Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
And they took me into their homes, and, and my wife came with me, and we had Yom Kippur dances.
Yom
and
Kippur
other-
dance?
Yom Kippur.
just before Yom Kippur,
Yes.
you would have a dance party for the
Oh.
survivors.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
a celebration?
What?
Like a celebration of life?
Yeah, it's a celebration of life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they try to be very pleasant and have you enjoy the visit, you know.
So what you're saying is that people want you to treat them not as buyers, only as buyers, but also as kind of friends, as people,
Yeah,
not as a potential buyers.
that you have a buyer that I felt wants to be treated
Mm-hmm.
as I am treated.
Yeah.
Because I had salesmen
Mm-hmm.
that came in to sell me merchandise. And if their approach was not the best, then I didn't buy. They had to make me feel good. That's what they are trying to tell me. It's going to be successful. And it wasn't always successful, you know. But if you didn't try it, you'll never know it. We,
Right.
we used to buy, at one time, we started buying a full car of furniture would come from the factory. We had to unload it at the railroad station, and and we learned what was good, what wasn't good, and like you talking to me, you try to figure out what kind of a person I am. If you happen to be selling me something, I would try to figure out
Who am I?
who are, who are you.
Yeah.
A salesman has to be trusted, and a person is a salesman. As a person is selling himself or a product.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. when they walk into a store, it's how they act and make you feel comfortable. That's basically life.
That they are not,
High pressure.
yes, but they are not looking for your money,
Right,
but they want to get to know you.
right.
Right.
And there were people, I had the presidents of company that were good for millions of dollars. They would come and visit the store sometimes.
Who? I didn't understand. Who came to visit the store?
The people that owned the factory,
Oh, okay. The furniture
the
factory.
furniture factory.
The one that you
That's
bought the furniture from.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And they acted professional.
What do you mean?
They wanted to go to my house and have
To be social with you.
a luncheon for my mother to make, potato latkes.
Your mother?
Well, whoever was in charge. Yeah. And once you made a good contact, you impressed on them, they impressed on you, you had a good combination. It's like dating. It works two ways. If you date a girl,
Yeah.
if you,
So actually, if I ask you, what is the secret of your success? What would you tell me?
to treat everybody well, and see, that's my beautiful granddaughter.
This is your granddaughter? רגע, את שהיית בחו"ל, בחזרת? היית בהודו?
And she came back from India.
Yeah, I know.
יש לה גם בת בגיל.
הבת שלי עכשיו בנפאל, עושה את הבייסקאמפ. וואו, באמת וואו, אני מה זה בלחץ.
הבייסקאמפ זה חלק מהאברסט.
אני ראיתי את הסרט.
אני לא ראיתי.
את הסרט?
אל תראי את הסרט.
רק ביקשתי שכל ערב שתרשום לי, יש להם טלפון לווייני, ביקשתי שתרשום לי הכל בסדר.
מה, היא רוצה להגיע למעלה?
לא,
לא,
לא.
מה זה?
לא, בייסקאמפ זה הקמפ, אני הבנתי, האחרון לפני הטיפוס, ככה אני הבנתי.
נראה לי ב5,000.
כן, 5-4, משהו כזה. כן.
זה סבבה עוד שם.
מה
אני
זה?
כאילו אחרי 5,400 קיבלתי מחלת גבהים. שוב.
אני ב3 ומשהו, הייתי עכשיו בנפאל גם כן, ב3-4 כזה גם כן משהו קרה לי.
כן.
וזה היה מפחיד לאללה.
5,400 זה הכי הרבה שהגעתי.
כן, אז נורא גבוה. וואו. איפה היית בהודו?
ברישיקש.
רק לשקש?
פחות או יותר, כן.
באמת? וואלה.
See,
כמה זמן?
he is a good
היית באשרם או מה?
לא. כאילו עשיתי קורס מורה יוגה, ואחרי זה נשארתי.
אתה לא יכול לעזור?
כן, היה כיף, זה היה אורח חיים כיפי כזה. כל היום הולכים, עושים יוגה, יושבים במסעדות, עושים חברים.
כאילו לא עושים כלום בקיצור.
עשיתי יוגה 2-3 ביום,
וואו.
אז
הייתי ברישיקש, הייתי בהודו פעמיים. אבל כן, גם ברישיקש.
פעם הבאה ניקח.
אם היא אוהבת את זה, אז אני הייתי רוצה מאוד לחזור.
כן, היא יכולה להתחבר ל... אם זה לא הארדקור מדי, היא תהיה סבבה.
But she traveled to the States many times.
Yes?
Yeah. And she felt very comfortable.
In the States.
And she made friends with my neighbors. And
Kenosha.
she didn't find them that different. What?
Yes, everybody's people.
What?
Good people everywhere, right?
Yeah. Good people are real.
Exactly the same that you said now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show harasho.
No, Harasho I know. That's it.
Show means everything.
Okay. Everything is okay. It's good.
Everything in the world, the majority is good.
I don't know about that, but
I know,
okay.
but
I know.
I,
But this is your optimistic way of seeing, things.
well, I know it's not perfect.
Right.
I know you have to look out for the not so perfect, nice,
Yeah.
But I was dealing with Russians at work, and they were party people,
Okay.
and I was doing certain things at work that were not kosher.
Okay. What do you mean not kosher?
Okay, I had a couple of Jewish men that came, the the ice company.
רצית משהו? ביי. שנה טובה. יבוא עוד שבוע. אני אומרת שאני אבוא עוד שבוע.
She'll come in a week.
This is ראש השנה.
Thursday is Rosh Hashanah.
Yes.
The what?
Thursday is Rosh Hashanah.
I know.
So she'll come next
So
week.
I will come next week, in another week. Next Monday.
Instead of Thursday.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
See you later.
They would say he is a party man.
Okay.
They-
About who?
about some of the Russians,
All right.
the officers
Okay.
in charge.
Mhm.
And if you made friends with the big boss, Revizor, they call it.
Revisor?
Yeah, because
Okay.
they were overlooking the entire operation in the business. you know.
Okay.
Rosh Hashanah, Chala's New York.
And what I was doing was not 100% kosher.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was selling ice to Jewish people to make ice cream, and the ice was taken out from the place where I was working.
Okay. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yes. I understand what you say.
So the watchmaker, you better look out for Revizor, Itzkin,
You remember the name?
Yeah,
This was
One of
his
them.
name?
yeah,
Yes.
I remember this, everyone. There was
Okay.
a Krikonov, which was Russian and Polish background. Katekov was the Muslim background,
Okay.
yeah. And, but they were all the same people. So like they told me, you have to make friends with Katekov because he is the party line.
They knew you have the ability to get friendly
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah. And they noticed it too. So once at work, he says, we have some animals to feed in the spring, and it's not easy to get the hay. Can you arrange it? So I'll need a little extra money to buy the hay for my cow or whatever.
So they sent you.
They knew that if they talked to me, that I'll come up with
It's going to be done.
Yeah. And they knew that I was selling ice to Jewish people like myself. They were not they were not Russian. They would buy the ice and they would make ice cream go to the market
Mm-hmm.
and sell the ice cream. They could be trusted, and the bosses, my bosses, knew that they were coming today. They're going to pick up, and also the watchman was a Muslim because Kazakhstan,
Yeah, they are Muslims.
they are Muslims, see, and they are not any different than a local communist, you know. But they knew that I was selling the ice and I was making some money, and I would make sure that they would get a piece of it too. And they would look this way, you know, you see. So I told my father we should hire a donkey with a two-wheeler, you know,
Yeah.
and put on half a dozen pieces of ice, and you follow the donkey, and you go to the market, and whether they're selling Coca-Cola or some other cold drinks, they want it to be cold and tasty.
The ice.
Well,
And there's the ice.
yeah.
If you want.
But also they were making ice cream because
Yeah.
this was the only place where there was ice available from the government supply. And- and
So you say that the secrets of your success is the ability to understand that people want you to treat them as people, not just as potential buyers.
Mhm.
Or you are not just looking to take their money, but you're also interested in their life.
Yeah,
That's correct?
like I had this one woman that I met. She was in charge of giving out the ration cards.
Yeah.
And she asked me to do some work for her.
Mhm.
And it was in a couple of houses. She says, there is snow on my roof and it's hard for me to get up there to clean it up. Would you mind doing it for me? And I did the job, and she invited me to the house, and she served me coffee and bread, which was a delicacy because it was rationed. You know, rationed?
Mhm.
Yeah. And she said, at the end, I will give you some extra coupons. You know,
Mhm.
when I issue a card, she says, it will be from the 10th to the end of the month. So from the 1st to the 10th, they were not used. They weren't used yet.
Okay.
But if you go into the store and you would tell the ladies, they were usually young ladies, salespeople in the store, and you will say, I'll give you 5 kilo coupons, and 3 kilo for me, 2 kilo for you, the coupons. and they trusted us because at one time it was in the news where we got in trouble with the government, and they said, "You family can be trusted because in Russia, as a rule, you try to tell the government to get off their backs, and we were able to come back in the business."
Okay. What do you mean they? I didn't understand what you said.
The government wants people to tell them if they did something wrong,
Oh, okay. Okay.
so that they were wrong, you know.
And they what? They arrested them?
Or
They punished them?
actually, my family
Yeah, I remember.
was,
Your father and Baruch. They were
yeah,
put into prison, right?
yeah. And my mother was in the house at the time, and I was at work. And my mother just left, but I got in touch with the office and talked to the people that were involved, and they said, we're going to do everything we can to get,
To get them out.
yeah.
And you did.
They even left for Moscow.
Moscow.
What?
From Moscow?
Yeah. And they would communicate with me. And they said, Manny, I think we got good news for you. I think.
Did you pay them something? Did you have to pay them?
No, they didn't look
didn't
for
ask
the
for
pay.
money?
No. They wanted to help you out.
Jews help Jews, right?
Well,
Jews helped Jews.
yeah, right. So there were a lot of things. But then I used to go to the deli and I would be in charge with the office, pay for the lunch
Okay.
for a dozen workers. And one of them came up to me and they said, you people can be trusted.
Can be.
Yeah, because what happened to your family, you didn't get anybody in trouble. And they felt it's a good attitude if you can be trusted against the government. You know, if you do something, it's nothing, no big crime, but this is how it is. Because some Russians will be easier to talk against somebody else.
Yeah. What was, if at all, what was your parents, if you can say, what was your parents' part in building such an attitude towards life in you? You think they had any part in it that you became an open-minded and a man who understands what people want,
Yeah.
friendly?
Uh-huh.
What do you can tell me about your parents' part in it?
They knew that what I was doing was risky, but it needed to be done and be careful.
So
Because,
you can say they trusted on you.
yeah,
They,
they trusted me because they felt that my reasoning was good enough to get to know certain people that in the conversation that came out, they said, okay, we'll do this, we'll do that. They trusted the people, yeah. And the people I found out that worked for the government are not any different than the people that were sent to Siberia.
In what way? What do you mean?
Because they are good human beings and they don't appreciate a lot of things that the government does. And, and they feel that the people are entitled to more humane treatment. And they will try to be helpful. Yeah. Because a lot of things were risky. They call it speculant. You know what a speculant is?
Mhm.
If you buy something for $1 and you sell it for $1.50, it's speculation.
But do you remember in Rimanov,
Yeah.
you had two gasoline stations,
Yeah.
right? Did your father work? Did your father? Did he work hard? I mean, he was like a boss. He knew how to handle things. Your father,
Yeah.
yeah. He had enough self-confidence in his abilities to run things. Do you
No,
remember
you see,
what kind of a businessman was your father?
we had two businesses.
Yeah.
Like kerosene
Mm-hmm.
was separate from the gasoline.
Yeah.
Gasoline was owned by the gasoline station was owned by the
British.
makers.
Okay.
And they were English
Mm-hmm.
English companies
Mm-hmm.
that would have offices
Okay.
throughout Poland, and they would have some Jewish people would be in charge, and some would be not Jewish.
But your father ran the kerosene business. Your father.
Well, my father was in charge of the whole business. The whole business was one business, you know.
Do you remember him as a boss, as a manager?
Yeah,
What kind of a manager was he?
he was a good person, and he tried to do the right things. See, we used to go. We had two resorts.
Yeah.
Remanov Zdroy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the Zdroy is?
Yeah.
It's a resort. They like Jewish gefilte fish,
Okay.
and we were able to get it because there was a river in Romanov that you could catch the fresh Friday fish for Saturday.
Yeah. Okay.
And my mother would make gefilte fish.
Sweet.
What?
Sweet.
Quick?
Not sweet, not spicy.
No, no.
Sweet.
No.
Yeah.
It was a perfect combination.
Yeah. I know. I know. This is the only kind of fish that I eat. I don't like fish,
Oh,
but the gefilte fish, it's
but this
something
was,
else.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So she
So-
would make sure she would make some, and we take it out to the resort and
Oh,
and then give it to them as a present.
wow. Really?
Yeah, and they enjoyed it.
Of course. And it also was good for the business? Or
Everything is good for the business if your suppliers are friendly to you. Yeah,
and your father knew how to make friends?
yeah.
He also knew?
Oh, yeah, he did,
He did?
but he was a little more careful.
Then who? Then you?
Well, but if he talked to me and he realized it's a good idea to be good friends with this one or that one. If you make good friends with the government people, then you have it made. You know, they don't they don't look to you as a bad person, even if it's against the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look at you as a good person. But they are not different than Americans or Israelis. They're pretty much,
The same.
most people are the same.
When you had the furniture business in Kenosha,
Yeah.
did you used to talk to your father and ask for his advice, or did you told him what's going on in the business? Was he a part of the daily life of the business or not? I mean,
He was part of it, but he had to have my assurance that I looked into it and that I am playing it safe. Like he didn't like my older brothers go into the exchange stock market. He didn't like that.
older brothers,
Yeah, Bernie.
Bernie.
Yeah.
Bernie was also going to the stock market.
Yeah.
He played in the stock, or Eddie? It was Eddie who played in the stock.
Oh, Bernie.
Also Bernie.
Yeah. No, it was Eddie mostly.
Yeah.
Because Bernie came
Later.
later. Yeah.
So what did he tell you about it?
Well, if it was too risky, he felt it's a good idea to stay away, not to jump in. You know.
But when we had, like, in business, sometimes you have some dilemmas and conflicts, sometimes with yourselves about the business. Did you ever ask for your father for an advice, or did
You
you?
always share what you were doing, you know. So he knew everything that was going on.
Yeah.
Including going. I hired a donkey with a two-wheeler and loaded it up with ice. And my father would go to the city with ice loaded.
Where was it? In Siberia?
No, this was in Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah. It was a load of half a dozen big chunks
Blocks.
of ice.
Mhm.
And it was a trip, a few kilometers. And he would stop in different places in the city and sell.
He knew how to be a salesman. He knew how to do it, your father?
What?
He knew how to sell. He was a salesman. Your father was a salesman?
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
salesman. He also had.
He learned a lot of things.
Yeah.
What was right and what, you know.
He was friendly.
Yeah. Friendly had to see the business that we had as a franchise. You know what a franchise is?
Yeah.
You have to be friendly in your business. When you have a gas station and people come and say, I want 10 liter, 20 liter, whatever, you make sure that you say thank you for everything. And you're polite. You learn this from the factory too, to treat your customers friendly. And this applies to everything in the world, to treat people well. It's, it's, it's one world. Everybody likes to be treated well.
That's right. And maybe also everybody wants to be heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. They wanted you to ask how they were doing.
That too.
Yeah. How about their kids, the family,
Right.
and then yeah.
You try to get personal in many cases. Because if you make friends with customers, then they feel,
They can trust you.
yeah. So I would go to their homes and give them advice. You see it, you this. They liked it. They were getting that kind of service. Yeah. So what I found out is one thing. People are the same all over the world. If you're good to them and you do what they need, you meet their needs, then you are their friend. Communists, no communists,
Yeah. They are human beings.
well,
They are human beings.
a human being.
And they have the same needs.
And the same
More or
is
less.
like in the store too. I go in and I say, I want 5 kilo bread, 2 kilo coupons for you, and and once they build trust that they know that I am safe and I wouldn't turn them in.
Actually, you can say that you were a businessman always.
Yeah,
I mean, it didn't start at Kenosha when you opened the furniture business.
no,
You were a businessman before.
right.
In Siberia, in Kazakhstan, and
Right.
on the way, yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
it was in your blood somehow.
but it's all basic. If you do right for the people that you deal with, you're doing okay. You got to make friendship all over the world with people.
Yeah.
And just because somebody's a communist, he's not an evil. The communists, they like to make a good living too. They like to have a good schnapps. They are known for vodka.
Yeah. That's right.
A bottle of vodka.
And they are happy.
I was dealing with one of the policemen. He was taking somebody to the police station. He found something that he was trying to sell, make, some money illegally, not legally. And I followed him. I said, look, he's one of my best friends. What are you trying to do? And he said, oh, we found this, we found that. It was a lot of nothings, but it was not kosher.
So what did you do?
Well, I told him to let him go. And we walked almost a block away from the police station. And I said, you see, if you cross the tracks here and he goes to the police station, the vodka is going to go to the over there.
So you gave him a bottle of vodka and you released him.
Well, I didn't have to do it this time,
Uh-huh.
but I already, he said, I'm going to look this way and
You will go that way.
go this way. It's the same thing.
You had a lot of self-confidence, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they noticed it because when I talked to later on to some of the sales people, women, mostly women, they say, your family can be trusted. But in Russia, that's a big, it's all over the world, it's the same thing. If you can be trusted, it means a lot. Because if you have to be afraid, you do something and it's going to go back to the government.
So what you're saying is that if you are honest,
Yeah.
if you are decent, so you are okay. I mean, people get to trust on you.
Yeah. Trust is very important. It's in business, and in general life, you know.
And you also trusted people, or you knew the ways, so you had the kind of, I don't know,
It's right.
sensitivity to know
It's
who
right.
can be trusted.
I know. It's a gamble, but you try to figure out the best you can. But if you talk and you ask questions, you find out that 99% of people are good people.
You believe that?
Yeah,
99%
are good people.
are good people?
You have to know how to approach them, you know. Yeah. Yeah, because a good person is a happy person. If you try to get other people in trouble, you have it on your conscience. You don't like to be a bad person, you know, to do bad things for people. Every person thinks of another person as a good person. They like good people. Yeah.
It's a very unique attitude, way of thinking, that, you know, people are good, and they don't have any, you know, bad intention, you know, to harm you or do anything
Well,
wrong.
they know what I was doing. It's not the government is going to go on with business. There's going to be enough bad things done.
You think also today most of the people are good, or something has changed since then? What do you
No,
think about the people
it
today?
is most. It's not. It's not good idea not to be a good person in business because you get sooner or later you're going to get in trouble. You know, it's best not to try to be law breaking. But Russia was restricted to a lot of things. In Poland, to buy and sell was not a crime.
What do you mean?
The mean is in Russia, if you bought something for $10 for 10 ruble and you sold it for 15, that's speculation.
So how would you supposed to be a trader or a businessman if you didn't sell something you bought?
Business was not free in Russia.
Yeah, private business. Yeah, no private business.
No, no. If it was done under the table, then it was not kosher. It was not.
So people actually were afraid most of the time.
Sure, a lot of times. Yeah. But in general, people are good people. Yeah.
They have good intentions.
Yeah. We had Goyim come Saturday morning and put some lumber in the stove to make fire to warm up the food for Saturday dinner. Yeah.
It was the same in Kenosha?
Yeah.
It was the same?
That wasn't.
In what way?
That's the way it was in Kenosha. And the people, they didn't need anything special from us, just to be friends. They wanted to be a good neighbor.
And you had Christians friends and
Mostly Christian.
mostly?
No. To make fire on Saturday morning, You had to have a guy to do it.
But this was in Poland, right?
In
In
Poland.
Rivne. Yes. But in Kenosha, people were also friendly with you. You know, your neighbors, not the Jewish people, but other religious. I mean, they were friendly with
Sure,
the
because
Jewish community.
they knew us from the business
Okay.
and in general. Yeah. You try to be a good person in general and be friendly to everybody.
They knew you as a businessman, as the
Sure.
owner of the
Sure.
furniture shop.
Sure, we had our name, Shalou Furniture, so it was a big, it was a large store. We employed a lot of people.
How many?
Well, we had at least 4 salesmen and some delivery people, you know.
Some dozens?
What?
Some dozens people, something like that.
Yeah. We had policemen, part-time work to do for us.
As what? Ah, okay.
Deliver furniture.
Yeah. I remember you talking.
Because they would have time off, certain time.
So we wanted to make an extra money, so we worked at your shop.
No, they wanted to make extra
Yeah.
money, but it was important.
So you felt as like an important person in Kenosha. I mean, you were valued, you were appreciated
Sure.
in Kenosha.
I was in the courthouse. I was
What do you mean you were in the courthouse? As what?
as a part of it. They would have people being judged,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
and they would have a trial, and they would represent the trial, and you had to judge. Did they do the right thing or the wrong thing? You know.
Okay. So
And I was one of them involved in many trials.
as what? I mean,
You
didn't was
could be
you-
speeding, could be this, could be that. A lot of things that I didn't consider it was a crime. You know, you tried to get them.
What you
not-
spoke for them, or what did you do? You weren't a judge. There were courts.
Well, the judge wanted you to be the judge. What do you think?
Really?
Yeah.
In Kenosha?
Yeah.
So we ask you to see.
They look for people opinion. Yeah.
Really?
See, the courthouse was right across the street
From the store?
From the store. And we were considered believable and reliable. And what I said was important to get them out or to get the crime reduced or whatever they did. But these were not, they didn't kill anybody, they didn't harm anybody. But a lot of things were basically, they call it speculation. If you make money on the black market, you get caught.
So you were asked to sit in the trial, and you wanted to hear your opinion about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, a lot of it. Especially just before when the war started. I was on jury duty. Yeah. I was one of them to be important to the court.
Okay.
Yeah. But usually I try to help the people if it wasn't,
But if you thought he was, guilty,
yeah.
what did you say?
The what?
If you thought that he was guilty, so what did you say?
No. Well, accidents are hard to judge. If you're guilty or not guilty, it depends who is looking at it.
Mhm.
But if the person is usually a good person, and he happened to be an accident.
One lapse?
What?
One lapse? I mean,
Yeah. No, you have to analyze the people.
can you say that you had a full life? Are you satisfied with your life? I mean, or you sometimes think that you could do things different or more or less or whatever? What do you think about your life?
I did the best under the circumstances, and the timing had a lot to do with it. If it was Siberia, Kazakhstan, or
Kenosha.
but Kenosha, we had 4 synagogues in Kenosha, and I learned how to conduct services in the Kenosha, in the synagogue.
Yeah. Okay. Next time, I wanted to hear you about talking about your daughters.
Uh-huh.
Okay, next time we will meet, next Monday.
Uh-huh.
We will talk about Natalie and Marsha. Marsha, I know, but Natalie, I would like to hear about Natalie from you.
She's a very good person.
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
a very good person. But sometimes you have more non-Jewish friends or fewer Jewish friends. You can't judge people who they like or don't.
Right.
Yeah. But I think my daughters learn to be more liberal. They don't consider every goy an enemy. They don't.
You also?
I in the same way.
Same way?
Yeah.
I think the same way.
Yeah. Just because he's a goy.
Doesn't mean he's a bad person.
No. Because there is a lot of bad Jews.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, and they
I
are.
agree. You have to judge people for
Who they are.
for
Yeah.
their personality, attitude, and
Yeah.
everything, not because of their, this religious or that religious, or
The religions
they came.
have very little to do with it. There was a church in Romanov. Still is a church and 4 synagogues. And people go with a shramler, with a shram. Free. And with the talis on a Saturday morning, and you go to shul, and nobody
You're talking about today or back then?
back then, or even today, they learn to respect others. Most Polish people, because they had problems with the pro-government, against government,
Yeah.
they tried to be liberal. They had Poland had a Forwards newspaper that was the most liberal paper in Europe. Yeah, in Yiddish. I used to read it to my aunt. The Forwards.
Okay. Okay. We will stop here. Let me stop the recording. Stop it. That's it. So you know it's Rosh Hashanah in
Right.
2 days, yeah, on
The what?
Wednesday. On Wednesday it's Rosh Hashanah. It's the
Right.
evening of Rosh Hashanah. Yeah. Are you celebrating Rosh Hashanah here? Are you celebrating them?
But I would conduct services
Yeah,
in Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur
yeah,
in Kenosha.
yeah. But today you are here with Marsha and the family
Right.
in Israel. I think it's the first Rosh Hashanah that you are celebrating in Israel, no?
Well, I went to the synagogue here before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you are celebrating the meal here
Yeah.
with the family.
Right.
Okay. So Eva, let me stop the recording.